And we are live. So this is our new podcast, and we're going to be talking about new PC components and Q4 of 2020. And it's been a very interesting couple of months with all the new technology out, and we're just going to jump straight into the topic. So it's just me and Lee tonight, and nobody else. So it's just the two of us, and we're going to get to it. So the first topic, Lee, is new GPUs release stock issue. So I'll let you go for it, and then I'll maybe chime in after you, see how you think about it all.
I think the stock issues is pretty terrible, considering the NVIDIA was a complete hassle, and then there are also rumours going around that they're sold half the stock to miners.
I heard that as well. Yeah.
People are now saying that about AMD, but again, I'm not sure. I say the NVIDIA one now was more concrete. People saying it might be true. Then also the fact is there wasn't enough release per country. There might only be, generally speaking, there might only be like 10,000 that they spread out to every country. It wasn't enough.
I'll agree with you on the NVIDIA side that I heard that they had been selling their graphics cards to miners. Now I don't know if that's true or not, but like obviously you have to take every rumor with a grain of salt. And what I've been hearing is there've been very little stock that they have been shipping out, as well. So a lot of people are calling it, have you ever heard of a paper launch? Whereas it's just, there's very little stock, and it's just, there's not enough out.
There's another way to basically price up their own stock. They could be selling it on the side at higher prices. There was also rumors of, it wasn't a rumor, it was proven, but it was never confirmed their delivery was MSI was caught on one of their side companies that they sell old stock or refurbished products company under their name onto eBay. They were selling brand new NVIDIA graphics cards that want to just launch at double the price, scalping prices basically. That was all. But the thing was, MSI claimed they didn't know anything about it. They don't know how they got it. Did they go into their warehouse and just took whatever graphics cards they wanted?
That's a whole,
never proven.
That's a whole different issue. You've got the issue of the stock, and then you've got the issue of the stock that people weren't able to get, and the scalpers getting them, and then they're selling them for double the money.
Yep, triple.
Here's
AMD. Go ahead.
Here's a question for you, Lee. So, out of the three things that we're going to talk about, obviously we're talking about the new NVIDIA graphics cards, the AMD Zen 3 CPUs, and the 6000 series GPUs from AMD as well. Which one do you think had the worst launch, in your opinion?
AMD 6000 GPUs.
Now, what I had heard about the 6000 GPUs, 6000 series GPUs, is that America and places like that got most of the stock, whereas over here we either got very little stock or next to no stock at all. So that's what I've been hearing. So I don't know, depending on where you're at in the world, maybe your story is different.
I just haven't heard much about what happened. It was just a lot of hearsay. A lot of it was stock issues, wasn't enough getting out. But the thing was, they had like NVIDIA a month or month and a half prior to that, and learning from them, you think they would have, tried to get more out.
You would think, but it's just to get stock onto the market. Whether they have enough stock or not. This is the time of year to get your stock out.
In my opinion, both companies should have made sure they had enough to meet the demand. It wasn't even, they didn't even made a quarter of the demand. They only made a small percent of it.
The only thing I would say about AMD versus NVIDIA is that AMD's got that much new products coming out between their new CPUs, GPUs, consoles, PlayStation 5s and Xbox Series consoles. NVIDIA only has graphics cards. That's their main product they've released. They might have a couple of other things, but that's their main product.
See, there was another problem with NVIDIA. They also had the problem with the Samsung 8 nanometer chip. design.
That's another. I think that was a bad mistake on their part, but you know.
I don't know if it was Samsung being slow at producing them, or was Nvidia just adding too much.
But
You know.
well, that's probably into the next topic side of it. But the only thing is, Nvidia's been out. 3000 series cards have been out. What now? Is it nearly 2 months? And they are starting to get stock out, but they're still limited as well. So we'll have to wait.
Ridiculous price.
But we'll have to wait to see when the 6000 series from AMD comes out. Are they going to have that amount of stock? You know, a couple of months down the line, are they going to be even worse stock issues, or maybe better? We'll have to wait and see.
Do you ever look at eBay and see all the fake or bad things about Nvidia and AMD? Basically, people putting out specifically the model of the graphics card. Just in the title, then Mitch now also put on it bold commas and everything. Read the description. It was just to bots for the scalpers. So when the bots go onto the eBay try and buy these cheap cards, they buy them and it's not being real. It was just either a picture or something silly.
I've heard that about the consoles now that's come out, that there somebody was trying to sell a picture of it. So you weren't actually buying a console, which was...
It was actually a hand-drawn white paper, just black outline picture of AMD 6800 XT.
And that's what you were buying for double the money, probably?
No, it was £550, but it was still a lot of money for a piece of paper.
So that's I don't like buying on eBay, and that's one of the things I refuse to buy on. I really have to.
I refuse to buy second hand not unless I can meet the person I know where it come from.
I would also buy new. Yeah.
I would maybe a chance buying it from CEX because it's a shop. It got warranty. You have consumer rights. But even that, I would still be iffy on.
Before we go on to the next topic, we've mentioned more GPUs. What about the CPU side? Personally, I think they have had more stock for the Zen 3 CPUs than they did.
I think the biggest problem with the Zen 3 CPU is due to the fact the consoles.
But they had more stock of the CPUs than they had of the GPUs, so
yeah,
it's been better, but still not great, because obviously yourself, I'm trying to get one.
From your own experience,
I'm a way down the queue, so I'm like, there has been people who's got them, and fair enough, fair play to them, who's getting there quick enough and got them. But for the people who are still waiting, and like there's still people waiting beyond my number in the queue, but they've had more stock than the GPUs as well. But as we were talking about earlier, like if you go on to say even scan, like the 6000 series GPUs are off the website. You can't even look at them or anything, whereas the CPUs are still on.
Variants.
Yeah. So did they really launch over here? Why, if they launched, why would they be off the website?
But you had to remember too, Scan has a bug in their system. If you try, you can order something, but they don't have it.
Well, I get on there.
That's my own personal experience.
When I was trying to get the CPU, it was showing in stock, but then by the time I got checked out, I was in a pre-order queue. But then they sent out an email or something to say that they took too many pre-orders or orders for the new CPUs, which they need to fix then if they have an issue there, if there's a problem with their...
It's been like that since last January. I ordered my case. It was in stock. It told me it's in stock. I ordered it and told me it'd be dispatched whenever they get it ready. Next day, I waited a couple, I think about 3-4 days, and no notice about being dispatched. Contacted Scan, turns out they have no stock off it. I asked them why do you have it on your website that I could buy it? Ordered it and say it was in stock, and you don't have any.
Yeah.
Is a bug with their POS, but that's the case. They should have a fix. That was from January last and early 2020.
Yeah, it is a big issue. If they're taking pre-orders or stock that they have in stock that they're selling, they shouldn't have to. You should be able to get it. You know, if they're saying it's in stock, you should be able to buy it and get it like as soon as they can dispatch it. You know, they shouldn't be then putting it in back order or on a pre-order list.
At least should admit their problem and apologise to customers or offer them something else similar to it.
But
Even
really,
scan how they get the sum of the costs.
But
as in like free delivery.
But then the problem is, are they making enough on CPUs and GPUs that they can even do that? Probably not. At the lower end.
I'm talking about actual. So when it comes to GPUs and GPUs and CPUs, they're a limiting like a sock. I'm talking about sock they already have. They've been out long enough to have sock off.
Mm-hmm.
You know, they should have, but somehow don't have. That's what I'm on about. Like, for instance, my case, they should offer a tournament to very similar, or...
But then they shouldn't have it really up there for you to buy if it's not available. You know, that's the point. You know. Before we go to the next topic, so what do you reckon worst launch so far out of the three is the AMD 6000 series GPUs? Second to worst, NVIDIA 3000 series GPUs, and the better of the three is the Zen 3 CPUs from AMD. Would you agree or disagree?
I would agree with that.
You'll be far wrong, I think. You know, but that depends on what obviously what part of the world you're in, because they're saying that the AMD 6000 was better in America, so maybe in America they had better stock of that. But then we're here, so you know, we're just going by what this. Probably for our listeners, if there's somebody from America, like we're saying this more from a UK EU point of view rather than America side of it, or wherever, you know, Canada, America, you know, wherever you're at. Right, I think we've done alright in that topic. So the next one is performance of the new components. Do you want to split them down, Lee, into different sections? Do you want to talk about the NVIDIA stuff first, and then obviously AMD, and then we can do a wee comparison maybe or something after that, you know? I know you've been looking more at the performance and specs on them, haven't you, recently?
Yes, especially the AMD side of things, but I do know most of the performance specs of all the ones listed.
Mm-hmm. Right.
Especially the high-end ones. Mm-hmm. My opinion is the 3080, it's not a bad CPU, it's good performance, high-end, is up there on the charts. The 3090 now, on the other hand, is a waste of time. Not unless you want the 24 gig RAM.
Mm-hmm.
It's like 10% better than the 3080 and double the price.
Mm-hmm.
So now it's not worth it.
That's 10% performance in gaming, probably, but it depends what you're doing and your workload.
True. I misspoke there. I'm talking about in gaming's performance.
I'm just pointing that out because it's something we're going to bring up probably once we get through the performance here as well. You know?
The 3070 now is not bad. It's up there. It's beating what? Is there a meeting or beating the 2080 Ti? So it's not bad. And
it's in around that. My only gripe with that is that it's got less VRAM, you know.
My biggest gripe is these are not the finished products. These are the launch ones. I give it another couple of months and you get the TIO super versions of them.
Nah, that's potentially that's the rumour. But there's been that many rumours of different VRAM models, so the chances are it's probably going to come as well. Like,
I'm sure a lot at the launch today, they launched the 3060 Ti.
Mm-hmm.
I didn't talk about it because it was just launched today, so there's no figures or facts online about it so far.
We'll get a wee talk. We'll get that's on down the list here as well. So it is.
The AMD cards now, on the other hand.
Mm-hmm.
Well, the 6900 XT. Well, there's nothing about it yet. I don't think it's out.
Mm-hmm. But were they saying it was about roughly 10% as well, more powerful than the 6800 XT? There's something about that. I think it wasn't a great performance leap either. 10 or 12%.
No, I don't think it was. But I'm not sure since it's not launched, so I can't actually.
Mm-hmm. We'll have to wait and see. But I think that was in around. They're reckoning around that. But we'll wait and see whenever it launches. Well, maybe we'll do another video at that point and maybe comparison as well.
Well, between the 6800 and the 6800 XT, I think the 6800 XT is the star of the show. It beats its error matches or beats the
Sure.
3080 and a lot of benchmarks in gaming.
There's only an extra $80 or something, isn't it, between the two or
Yeah,
something?
£80 to £100 in our country,
Mm-hmm.
UK.
So when you're talking about price to performance, like, you know what I mean, it's a no-brainer for that one in that case, like.
Yeah, the 6800 just matches the 3070 or less. There's not much performance difference between them, but the 6800 XT now is up there in the high-end category. It's actually outperforming even the 3090 in some categories in gaming. But again, it's only just my point of view and what I've seen online, so I think it's a better value, but in terms of value, I wouldn't go for a OEM one at the moment. That's just ridiculous price.
Yeah. AMD CPUs, like, now I haven't really looked into a lot of the performance either in these yet. I need to get around to that. I was planning to do it, but I had one thing and another, didn't get doing it today.
Well, my opinion of them is very high. Because I own the Zen 2, I own the 3700X.
So there
is a lot more.
There is a bump up on the APC, so there's an extra up to 19%, plus obviously the
19.
extra clock speeds, but no, it's not a great higher clock speeds, but with the two, you're getting that extra performance, so you are.
Yes, they also can be clocked up to like 5 GHz easily, supposedly, what I've seen. There also been cases when people use nitrogen.
Depending
especially
on
with the
obviously your cooling and stuff as well, like.
Yeah. I seen them.
Sorry, go on ahead there.
So the performance of all of them was pretty good. So that I think they're worth the money to buy any of them, but they're just hard to get.
When I get mine, the 5900X, we'll have to do a wee sort of comparisons. I know it's not the same, there's more cores and stuff in it, but just to see the difference in performance, you know, if you're going, you know, somebody who has a 3700X to a 5900X, you know, what is the difference? You know?
Definitely wouldn't.
The only thing is that we need a similar GPU to try it in both systems or whatever, if I take mine up to yours or whatever to test it out or something, you know?
Yeah.
But,
well, sure, we can use my old computer as also a test system too. For the
laugh. You could do that too, so you could.
You see how miserable bad it is.
I think I'm
10 years old.
I think I still
have
mine.
You still have yours?
I don't think it's really working right. I'll probably need a good clean out and the whole dust now, but anyway.
Did I say what happened the same like the last one on yours? It just blew up. The power supply unit.
Maybe. But no, that was human error. That last time it wasn't the computer's fault. Before we move on to the next topic, so if you were to think about it, right? So if you think about, we'll do NVIDIA first, right? Who do you think the cards are for? You know, let's split it down, right? So if you're going for 3090 or a 6900 XT, who's, you know, from your point of view, who should be buying that card?
The 3090, in my opinion, is more content creation because of the RAM.
Well, you could game on it as well, but if you're doing say you're a content creator, so you're streaming and gaming at the same time and stuff, like that extra VRAM and stuff will help. You know.
I would say it's probably better for content creator because the RAM is also a gaming card, so it will help out a lot more better.
You're paying at a premium for that, so you are.
Yeah, £1,500.
$1,500. Well, probably about £1,300 or £1,400 here at least.
No, it's £1,500 over here too.
Is it as well? Same price to $1, so good grief, getting worse. But anyway, 3080 and 6800 XT. They're on around the same sort of performance, give or take a bit of VRAM. Who do you think they're for?
The 3080. I think 3080 is definitely.
I think they're for your high-end. Your high-end gamer. You could do, if you're a part-time content creator and you're a high-end gamer, like for your 4K gaming or 1440p. You know,
more than capable of doing that.
That's what I think they're for, that sort of gamer. Then obviously if you go to your 3070 and your 6800, then that's your sort of your 1080p, 1440p gamer, you know, and around that area, give or take. Oh,
Yeah,
obviously the
but the
settings.
3080 and the 3070 was kind of let down with the RAM on them.
I know, that's the only thing I don't like. So I'm currently running a 1080 Ti, but if I go for a 3080, I'm losing. I know it's only 1 gig, but you're losing out on that. You know, maybe it seems a bit petty, but I don't know. I think at this point, I would personally, if I was going to pick out of any of them 6 cards, that'd be a 6800 XT for me. If I was going to upgrade, I would say.
Same here.
Personal preference, you know. The only thing, because I'm doing the channel now, I need to know, obviously RTX cards and NVIDIA cards are better for streamers and content creators, so I need to see somebody who's using one in that sort of line of work to see if it's still grand. I would say it probably is fine, you know. I think just the codecs and stuff are better on the NVIDIA cards. See, so what about the CPUs, Lee? I'm going to say, obviously, content creator / high-end gamer, you're talking your 5950 and your 5900X. Your CPU-wise, that's who you'll be looking at them, you know.
For content creator, I would say 5950X more than gamer. Because gamer doesn't need all that cores. But
you know, I mean, if you're doing both, if you're a gamer and a streamer, you know what I mean, you're a content creator.
It's handy to have both.
The more cores, the better, obviously. And even if
5900X
can do it as well. But if you're going to go, you know, if you're a full-time content creator, you'd be going to 5950X. Probably if you're part-time like myself, the 5900 probably be the sweet spot. And obviously, just if you're a gamer, you know, you're talking like your 5800X. I can see why people, you know, I see why they put out a 5600X, but I don't know. See, this is back to my old argument again, like, you know, 6 cores, 8 threads at this stage, whenever all the new consoles are 8 cores, 16 threads. You know, if you're, sorry, maybe this is into a different topic here, but if you're running a PC at 6 cores, 6 threads, so you still have to run your PC plus pay the games. So say if a year or two down the line and your games optimized for PC and a console with more threads, you know, you need a PC that's more threads to run the game plus run your PC, whereas a console doesn't have to do that. I think the bare minimum nowadays, you should go in for 8 threads, 16 cores minimum. You know, if you're buying a new system,
at least 8 core anyway.
I wouldn't go in less than 8 core at the minute, to be honest with you. I know that probably there's people on a budget and are needing, you know, that, but then if you're on a budget, you know, at that, you're not going to be playing high-end games. Do you know what I mean? As well at the same time.
I agree with you to a certain point about the whole. I also have another point on that. Do you remember all the years of console ports and so forth? How bad some of them are to the PC because the performance of a PC was so high compared to a console. You don't get the full experience, or problems with graphics, problems with this. You just generally speaking nothing but problems. But when you come from a new console's point of view, it's 8 core. 16 threads with a high-end GPU. You know, so it has the performance to match a entry-level good gaming PC.
Well, the new PCs are not really entry-level, or the new consoles are not entry-level at the minute. They're more like they're
mid-level,
mid to high. I would say I wouldn't say they're high, but they're they're not mid either, but they're not high.
More mid. They'll at least be a bare minimum of what I call a mid-level. PC would be at least an 8 core, 16 threads, 32 gig RAM.
Well, let me put this to you. I don't know if you've heard this or not, but I was watching. Did you ever watch Digital Foundry on YouTube? And they were comparing a Series X to a 2080 Super, and around that level.
Right.
So to me, that's not a mid-range card, like, you know what I mean? Well, maybe now it's a bit slower than what the newer ones are, but like at that stage, like that was, you know,
the 2080 Ti is no joke, either.
28, well, not 2080 Ti, but 2080 Super. They were comparing it to and around that spec, you know, give or take a wee bit, you know.
I saw a 2080, dude. I saw a high-end.
So, like, you know, the power of that for the price and a console, you know, versus you buying. Like, if you buy I'm just using an example, say you buy a 6800 XT, what are they, $650? And you can buy a console for a full thing with all your CPU, your GPU, your SSD and everything for $500 or £450 here in the UK. Do you know what I mean? Like, that's some difference in price, like. You know,
Yeah, what I'm trying to say anyway is, but the games, it'd be easier to port the games now, and because the consoles are 8-core 16 threads,
and they're all
so
on the
it might
same
be
system. It's all X80 or was it X86 or whatever. You know, the same.
Yeah.
You know,
and also being optimized for SSDs, which is far better.
mm-hmm.
They're being optimized for the AMD CPU and
So
graphics.
what you're saying is us as consumers is benefiting from all this.
Yes, but I still say people with a 6-core 12 thread might suffer some in the later years.
Currently they'll be fine, but I'm just saying as the games are more optimized for
There will
consoles,
be eventually.
They're going to suffer because they're not going to have enough performance to run their PC and a game at the same time. You know.
So they have to realize too, a lot of game developers are lazy and they don't want to actually do a proper port.
Mm-hmm.
So
it
might be easier if they're all kind of on the same level.
You have
currently
some developers. You currently have some developers who are good at optimizing, but you get people who obviously this me quoting you, Lee, who are lazy at developing for games. You know, but there's more lazy people than there is good ones optimizing. That's the problem, you know.
I'm not saying this all bad, I'm just saying some. Or I have seen and games I was looking to buy, I was actually willing to pay full price for, until I heard of nothing but bad ports, issues. You know, they just make you cringe and like, why did they bother kind of attitude.
Aye. You happy with that section? We'll maybe move on, Lee, because we're going a bit longer here. I was sort of thinking half an hour would probably rough out all these topics, but we're on nearly 30 minutes coming, another couple of minutes.
The price performance, it's easy to... Nice. The next topic is price to performance compared to the previous generation.
Well, I've got prices of new components.
That's on the set, and who are these cards for?
Price performance prices. Well, right, go for it. Yep.
Well, price performance, I'm just going to talk about AMD since that's the one I've been researching more myself personally. The 6800 XT versus 5700 XT. Yes, it's roughly about 400 to 450 in some places. It's ridiculous. And the 6800 is roughly 700 to 800 pound, depends on the edition you buy in it. But anyway, just say 700 pound. Well, the 6800 XT is far superior to the 5700. I can believe how bad the performance is. It is double.
When you see these new cards, like,
it's double the performance. The 5700 XT is nearly the same performance of my old card. I don't want to get rid of, and it's a joke.
So you're saying out of the GPUs for AMD, the best value for price performance is 6800 XT?
Yes, even though it's theirs.
Well, not compared to 6900 XT.
But at the moment, it's currently the only one available to buy.
But we know the price of the 6900 XT, which is $1,000. So, you know, 650 versus 1,000, you know, for an extra 10% or whatever it is, 10 to 15% performance. That's. But then the person who buys that $1,000 card is not your everyday gamer, like, you know, who's doing just games. You know, they might need that extra just for their content creation or whatever, you know. But it's not even a great deal extra for an extra, $350 on top of your card, like.
It's also required more power to run it.
Yep, true.
And another one is the
AMD CPU wise. Go to AMD, finish off AMD first. So you've got your CPU Zen 3. I know which one I think is the best value for performance. So do you want me to say and then you can agree, or do you want me to go first?
You talk about them this year, looking to them more than I did.
If you take the number of cores and the price that they're selling for. Now I don't have, obviously I've got the dollar prices down here. So if you're taking 5950X at $800, the 5900X at $550, and the 5800X at $450, and the 5600X at $300. Now I'm rounding them up to the nearest dollar, or the nearest $100 or $50. If you divide the number of cores down into the value, to me the best value is the 5900X. That works out dearer if you're going for any of the other three models. To me, I think that's the model that they're wanting to sell the most because it's the best value out of the whole 4 SKUs. Do you agree with me on that, Lee?
Yes, it's also the model I would choose if I was building the system.
Mm-hmm.
It's due to the fact it's 12 core 16, no, 1224. And
yeah.
it's more power, it's also the latest, so it's already 20%. But you have to remember too, when they did that 19% IPC gain, it wasn't on the X series, it was on the XT series, wasn't it?
They
remember that?
From the last generation.
They didn't do it on the actual X, they did it on the NIS.
No, on the XT versions, there weren't any higher IPC gain. They were just they bump up on clock speeds, so there's no IPC. The only IPC gains is these ones.
On.
They're basing from the IPC gain on the XTs to the new ones. Yeah. Sorry, I took you up wrong there. Yeah. So then there's going to be a higher performance than obviously now. There's not going to be extra IPC gain. It's just there's just higher clocks on the XT over the normal X's in the last generation. So obviously it's still a bump up. So it is, if there's a higher clock speed. In
my honest opinion, the 5900X is the one I would go for if I had a bit more money and looking to build a system.
Mm-hmm.
But if I was going for value for money, depends on the sales and so forth. Especially around this time of year, I'd probably still buy a 3700X.
Mm-hmm.
I know there's a 5800X there, but the price difference.
We're sort of running these couple of topics together for the next one. So I think we'll just sort of... I know we've sort of muddled them up over the topics and stuff here. I want to ask you a question. I you know what I mean? So, if you look at, what you've bought last year, Lee. So you've had your 3700X now for a year, right? And you've paid... What did you pay? About $290, did you say? $280, $290?
Right, but 285, 289, something like that.
So and around that, give or take. So we'll say 290 for argument's sake, right? Just round up to nice even figure. So we're a year later in, and the GPUs, even on a Black Friday sale, was 200. Well, I'm not saying I looked at all the websites, but I looked on Amazon, right? I just go say, right, I looked on Amazon UK, and that's where I mostly looked at and scan. Sale price this year was 290 as well. The same virtually as last year. You're saying you maybe got it for 285, so that was £5 dearer this year.
Give me a reset.
They're not that price at the moment because the sales are over. They're actually back up in price. They're up to over 300. So the point I'm making is that we're a year later and there are no further discounts on them. They're still either the same price or dearer, whether you get it on sale or not.
I did pay $290 for it, but can I also interject here? This has nothing to do with the CPUs. This is where you're on about the price of the year. Lot of my motherboard, I paid £200 for it.
And it's actually dearer this year.
It was on offer. It was a £280 motherboard on offer for $200, and now it's what, $230 on offer. Normal price is $260.
Well, regardless, I know that's up in price, but I was just using the CPU as an example. So a year later, the CPU is still on offer the same price. Why do you think that is?
Try and make more money.
I personally think it's
because of
I think it's
the
because
lack of
stock of the new stuff. Yes, obviously they've bumped the prices up, so they're there for starters offer for starters. But because people can't get them, why would they reduce stock of the old stuff? When people say, "Oh, I can't get the brand new one. Oh, I need a new CPU. I'll just buy one of the older generation Zen 2s." Do you know what I'm saying? So why would they reduce that and make less money, whereas they know people are going to buy it for the same price that they could have bought it last year? They could have had to use it for a year. So the people are thinking, oh, wait another year and see if they come down in price and buy it when it's cheaper. That theory was pointless because it didn't come down in price and they haven't saved any money. So they just waste a year without using that new product. Do you know what I'm saying?
When I bought mine, was $290 and I wasn't on offer or nothing. I think it was Amazon a couple weeks later had on offer for $270.
So we're even worse this year. We're up in price, like your motherboard.
Yeah.
Then, you know. So we're actually worse off this year because of, we can't say it on YouTube as to what's going on in the world this year, but we'll say human malware, if you understand, Lee, what I'm saying.
Yes.
But I think it's because of this lack of stock and what's going on this year, and that's why prices have actually, they're not even the same. They're actually obviously worse in price. You know, depending on where you get them sale or not, but they're up in price. You know, and I think as a consumer, we're worse off this year. So you probably should have bought last year rather than waiting.
Yeah, everything was down in price, from cases to power supply units, RAM. Apart from SSDs and M.2, so they're actually cheaper.
Question for you. Now, this one's not on our top list, but this is just because we're talking about prices, right? So, when is the best time to buy a CPU or graphics card? Do you think that you should spend the money at the start when it brand new launches, or should you give it a year or two and wait till they even potentially come down in price?
That's hard to say, because if you're building a new system and you have the money or you wouldn't save up, you could potentially wait up to 6 months or a year.
Yeah. Well, everybody's circumstances are different, fair enough. But, you know, like if you
need one because you have, say for instance, your CPU flagged or your GPU just...
Yes, that's different. Like if let's say for example, you don't need a new CPU, but you want the new CPU, right?
Upgrading.
Should you buy, say you want to go for the new one, should you buy it at day one, or should you give it a bit of time to even comes down a bit in price? Or do you know...
My opinion, I will always wait 6 months if I can.
But
because at least then there'll be bugs, there'll be testings on it, and there'll be more reviews.
Fair enough on that point of it. But what I'm trying to maybe say here as well at the same time is that regardless, right, so if you buy it day one, you get your new product and you have it for that period of time that you decide, you know, maybe some people maybe wait it for a year, 6 months, a year, 2 years to come down in price. But the problem is, like, when you buy them day one and you buy them that X amount of time later, the value of the stuff isn't even coming down now. The value is actually going up, you know, if anything, rather than going down. It's either the same value or going up. So, like, if you wait 6 months, a year, 2 years, like, there's that time waste that you haven't been using that new product for, you know, and you're still going to pay the same money, you know, or might go down, but if even it'll go down very little. Do you know what I'm saying?
I agree and disagree with you. I agree if you have the money then just buy the product.
Yes, because over time you're not even going to save that much, or you might not even save anything at all, or it might even go up in price, and you've just, you know, you might even spend more money, you know, 6 months or a year or whatever down the line. As you can see, going by this year, if next year's going to be the same again, then you might as well just buy.
I also disagree. I also, if they're launching a new line of products, like for instance a new CPU or graphics card, try to buy them at least a month beforehand of that previous model. Could they be cheaper? It was actually cheaper buying the, for instance, 2000 generation of the Nvidia cards. They were a bit cheaper.
Last year,
3000.
But we're in a different year this year, where it's even the 2000 stuff this year wasn't even as cheap as what they were last year.
No, I know.
You know, it was crazy. Like, some of the price were around there, like, what, 100, 110, 120 pound for the 2000 series.
Everything that just happened this year just screw everything over.
Aye. Yeah. I think we've been on a bit here. I'm going to jump to the next one. I'm going to, with maybe a bit, you know, we've sort of muddled a couple of them topics together, but anyway. Overclockingly, I'm not going to go through all of them because I don't know enough about the Nvidia cards, or the AMD CPUs, but want to talk to you about something about, see the RX 6900 XT and the RX 6800 XT. So I've noted on here, I don't know if you've read it or not yet, but the 6800 XT, the max overclock you can get up to, obviously depending on your cooling and how you're doing it, but you can get up to 2.8 gigahertz on an overclock on the GPU, dude. Which I think that's unreal. And the 6900 XT, there's a max, obviously these are capped out prices, are clock speeds of the max you can go. The 6900 XT can be clocked up to 3 gigahertz, which I think is mental. So it is. And I don't know, dude, there's some potential there, like, you know what I mean? And this is only their second round, and this RDNA, this RDNA 2. You know?
Yeah, I know.
What, you know what I mean? What's the potential in RDNA 3 going to be like? It makes me think that I think the next generation is going to be if you look at Zen 1, 2, and, well, obviously, sorry, Zen 1, Zen Plus, Zen 2, Zen 3, the incremental jumps from Zen 1 to Zen Plus, and then even Zen.
Well, the jump between Zen Plus and Zen 2 was a big difference.
And then the jump from Zen 2 to Zen 3, the first generation jump was very little, but you see, then the next one, that was class. So if you're thinking about RDNA 1 to RDNA 2, and the jump that they've got there is far bigger, imagine RDNA 3 is going to be likely.
I know. Zen 2 was a really good jump.
I think it's going to be some amount of potential there, to be honest with you, man. That's why when I look at it this year and I'm thinking, right, did I go for a new GPU? I've got 1080 Ti. You're in a different boat than me. I'm looking from my point of view. Should I buy or should I wait? GPU wise.
For me, I think you should wait. Your card's got 11 gig of VRAM, and it's still pretty powerful.
I think my CPU motherboard can get a cooler for that, and I think that's what I need at the minute. I think I would rather go more RAM than a new GPU, to be honest with
you. Yeah.
Yeah,
your graphics card is so up there. It's not exactly compared to mine. Like, mine's in the top 50, if even that.
Whereas
mine is.
What do you say? Mine's in the set number 17 in the top, or something roughly.
Mine.
Something like that. You said it was under the top 20, I think, anyway, or something, maybe. I don't know, that, give or take. Look.
You're still sitting up there pretty high.
And for what I'm doing at the minute, for what the games I'm playing, it's grand. It's just my CPU just can't run it. I could probably get more performance if I had a new CPU, look. But, fingers crossed soon. Fingers crossed.
Yours number 14 on the list, and this here one on
14?
GPU check.
Not too bad.
Mine's way down there.
Yeah, but
but mine is 2016 RX 480.
Yeah,
there's a big difference.
We'll do one last.
So how about you? Go ahead.
We'll do one last topic. So you're saying I should wait at the minute?
You should wait. If your GPU blows, get a U card, but if it doesn't, keep it.
The only thing I would consider is if I could get the 6800 XT, the reference one, at the proper price, not paying over, if you got that at the right money, I would consider it. But even at that, I still think it would be better waiting for the RDNA 3, to be honest with you. So what was I going to say there? If you're taking the general consumer, for somebody, at the minute, should they buy new now or wait for, say, even the next generation or whatever? Sorry, clear my throat there.
Mine is wait a couple more months until the stock issues could be sorted out. Until maybe February or March.
I think if you're going for the AMD stuff, you're grand. If you're wanting to go for it, I would go for it. But you see, in NVIDIA, this is one of the points I want to make, is that I personally think there's going to be a refresh or supers or TIs coming out, and I just, for some reason, I think their current range of cards is pointless. I think you should wait and see. if that's the route you want to go, I would wait another month or two to see if they announce any more cars, because obviously there's a 3060 Ti coming out. So where's their Supers or TIs of the other cards, the other models? So I think there's more to come there, to be honest with you, dude.
I agree you, but I will wait until at least March and see what comes out. They say give you a better picture. It might also sort out the SOT issues at the same time, so you might not have to wait 5 months to get your product. So,
but if you're waiting for a 3060 Ti, and you're mentioning to me now, I haven't read much on it. Like you're talking about the 6700 XT that's coming out. Are them two in a similar ballpoint? Spec wise to.
Hard to tell. I only just this. Not much information out there on the 6700 XT.
It's only rumours at this stage, sort of thing.
It's not really a rumour. There's just not a lot of info out there. It's
obviously
can be overclocked.
We know the card's coming, but we just don't know what the performance is on it yet, or anything.
And 3060 Ti, well, it only just out today and seen nothing off it yet.
Nah, until a couple of people get it in their hands, start testing it and get figures up on the internet as well, like.
Yeah. Yeah, but judging by the price of it, I say it's going to be lower than 3070. It might be. It might just be reaching the 6800. But again, until I actually see a proper figures of it, it might just be a joke like it was the 2060.
Yeah.
Like the 2060 was a joke last year. It was not much price difference between a 2070 Super or a 2070 Standard.
Yeah. I personally think last year Nvidia had too many models out. So they did the non-Supers and Supers and TIs. I think they should, I think they should more defined, not plenty of models, I think, I think AMD's got a better range. Obviously they've one more card to come out, I think, and that's all their range is going to be. But their ranges, you've got 4 classes, and you can sort of decide. Like I can sort of see.
I disagree. I think AMD got another couple of cards coming out, but they're not out till a year that they did. I think they are going to be.
Do you think they're going to bring one lower than the 5700 XT?
Aye, 6500 and maybe a 6600.
But I personally think if I was, I'm not saying I am, if I had my own company, like this is just me speaking, and maybe it's different if you had your own company, but like I think if you had one good card for sort of different categories, so if you had one good card for 1080p, one good card for 1440p, one good card for 4K, and then your high-end GPU that does your, for your content creator and your gamer, like an all-in-one one, that higher performance. Do you know what I'm saying?
Mic off. Powering off.
Yeah.
You still early?
Yeah.
I think it's maybe left. Something maybe happened. Let me just check here 2 seconds.
Hello?
Are you speaking, Lee? Because I can't hear you at all. Do you want to drop out and come on again there if you can hear me?
I can hear you. Hello?
What's going on? I don't know. Let me check the settings, the PC. Yeah, everyone's fine.
Can you hear me?
Can you hear me, Lee?
Hello?
Sorry about this, we're having a couple of wee technical difficulties here, but no, I'm just checking my settings. Everyone's grand. I think we've lost Lee, but what was he saying there as he text me?
Hello?
And well, I think we've got through all our topics there, and he has cut out, but are you still, can you hear me, Lee? And it's just restarting Discord, so hopefully we might be able to finish off. But I think we're nearly there anyway, so we are. We have some problems with Discord sometimes that people lags out and they just have to restart, jump out and jump in again. So we'll see now if that works. Hopefully get them back in just to finish off here.
Hello?
Maybe I can edit this part out of the podcast.
Hello?
We'll see.
Hello?
Hello?
Can you hear me? Hello?
Powering on. Mic off. Charging battery.
Hello?
Hello?
Can you hear me, Lee? He's back in Discord, but there's no sound for some reason.
Hello?
Hello?
Well, don't know what's going on.
What happened there? I was talking away to you the next minute. You cut out.
I could hear you no problem, but I don't know what happened. I'm just restarting my PC now.
Are you? Are you on the phone?
I put it through the phone there.
Aye. Well, while you're on the phone, do you want to just finish off? We can finish off the podcast now then.
Ah, sorry.
Is that alright? Is there any other topics or anything you want to make a note of there that we've talked about, or anything the last minute thoughts? Because I think we've got through all the topics, obviously in a different order than what we planned and mismatched a wee bit, but I think we've covered most of the points we're looking to get out there, weren't we? Haven't we?
Yep, I think we did.
I think the only thing we didn't really touch on a lot was a lot of the prices from like current gen to last gen, but obviously we know there's a price increase and things like that. But as you know, everything's went up this year in price anyway, so regardless, even the stuff that was out last year is still staying the same price, so the new stuff's obviously dearer, but yeah.
The prices haven't changed much.
Yeah. But we'll have to see, maybe get this year over, so maybe things will be maybe getting the right track and maybe start to drop next year when all these new cards and CPUs and all get out, but we'll just have to wait and see and go from there. Well, that does for now. Are you happy enough?
Yeah, that's good enough, dude.
That's grand.
Sorry about the issues. I don't know what happened.
No, well, I'm not sure. We'll have to maybe listen back to it just to see, but we'll iron that out. But anyway, so if whoever's listening, thanks for watching the podcast and hope you enjoyed our conversation and our topics, and we'll see you all in the next video. See you later. Bye.
Okay, thank you very much. Bye now.